All right. Hey gang, happy Wednesday. Alicia Cross here from Alicia Cross Training. If you found this video through a share, make sure that you like my Facebook page, Alicia Cross Training, and while you're at it, follow my Instagram, same name, Alicia Cross Training. So if you don't know me, I'm a yoga instructor, a personal trainer, and a wellness coach, and I have over 18 years experience in the fitness industry. And this is not my side hustle. I do this 24/7. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. I have a holistic approach to health, wellness, fitness, and I merge the sciences of exercise and nutrition with the ancient teachings of yoga and Ayurveda. My mission is to show you that you are not stuck, you can change your life, and the foundation for any positive change is health. You need good health. And I help you to improve your health and your fitness through wellness coaching, through semi-private training, yoga classes, workshops, tons of content on my Facebook and my Instagram, just like this Facebook Live that we're doing here now. And I'm here to motivate you and to inspire you, to give you information, to help you cut through the confusion, especially around diet and exercise, and to keep you accountable so you can reach your goals. So I go live here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So if you're here, give me a wave, say hi so I know you're with me. And whether you're watching the replay or you're watching live, first, thanks for being here. And if you have a question or a comment, just post it anytime and I will reply. So today we're talking about nutrition basics. Nutrition is huge. A lot of you have weight loss goals, and those weight loss goals are achieved in part through exercise, but really through nutrition and through diet. So we're going to talk about some definitions, some fads, and my basic steps towards improving your nutrition. Okay, and we'll talk about why all this is important to you and why it matters. And the big one I talked about is you have a weight loss goal. You can't get there by exercise alone. I have a post that's you can't out-exercise a bad diet, and that's 100% true. If you are doing all of the things and taking all the classes and doing all the workouts and the scale is not budging, you got to look at your nutrition. And there is a lot of just misinformation out there, especially on the internet, just to get you to click on things, to buy things. So I want to clear that up, because if you are educated, then you are empowered. And if you are empowered, you are going to have your health, your wellness in your hands, and somebody else isn't going to convince you that they can sell that to you. So it's really important that you know some of these basics. So let's start with some definitions. So metabolism, you hear that word a lot. What is that? So metabolism is just the combination of anabolism and catabolism. And the way that I remember these two words, if you think of the phrase anabolic steroids, that is building up. So anabolism or anabolic is building up, and then catabolism or catabolic is breaking down. So metabolism is just the sum of those two processes, and that is constantly happening in all of your cells. So that's all metabolism is, the combination of building up and breaking down in all of your cells. So your whole body, it's happening all of the time. What is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of taking in food for growth and repair, and that is anabolic. What is a diet? A diet, in the way that I use it, is the term of, it's the food and drink that you regularly consume or you're in the habit of taking in. So I do not use diet in the sense, this other meaning of eating sparingly to reduce your weight. Your diet is what you eat. We all have a diet. We are all on a diet because it's the food we consume, and what we drink. And that is how I use the word diet. And this is why I also use the word nutrition a lot, because I don't want you to hear the word diet and think that I'm telling you that you have to go on a diet or you have to cut calories. I want to use the word nutrition so you understand that we're just talking about this process of taking in food. So what it is, when, how, the whole thing. Your resting metabolic rate. So maybe this is something you've heard of. It's also called basal metabolic rate, and it is the least amount of calories that you need to stay alive. So if you are sedentary, not doing anything, this is the calories that you burn just existing. And I like to clear this up because I had a client once say, according to my activity tracker, I burned like 300 calories yesterday, and usually I only burn 200. And I said, well, you're burning like 2,000 calories a day. And that was news to her. She thought that she was only burning calories when she exercised. But your basal metabolic rate, the amount you burn just being alive, counts for 60 to 70% of the total calories burned all day. So your exercise that you're doing on the elliptical, or whatever you're doing where you're tracking your calories, that's just a small portion of what you're burning throughout the day. The majority of the calories you burn during the day are at rest to just stay alive, 60 to 70%. And that is why we want to increase your resting metabolic rate if you have weight loss goals. And one of the ways we do that is by building more lean muscle. And again, that doesn't mean getting bigger. You're just having more muscle tissue, because that does take more calories to just stay alive. And doing things like eating consistently and managing your hormones. All of these things are going to help to improve your basal metabolic rate, or your resting metabolic rate, which, remember, your metabolism is just the combination of building up and breaking down. You also burn about 10% of calories in eating and digesting the food that you eat. This is important because if you are eating, or when you eat carbohydrates, they're already closer to being broken down into the thing that your body likes to store. So you're not going to expend a lot of energy breaking down carbohydrates. So when you eat protein, however, your body has to go through more of a process to break that down. So you're actually burning more calories when you break down protein. So another good reason why we have to eat more protein when weight loss is our goal. And then you have the thermic effect of exercise. So about 15 to 30% of your total calories burned during the day comes from exercise, just depending on the type and the duration. All right, so all this talk about calories. What is a calorie? So calorie is shorthand for kilocalorie. That's why the abbreviation is really KCAL, kilocalorie. So 1 kilocalorie is the amount of heat energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So a calorie is a measurement of energy. That's all it is. Calories are not good or bad. Calories are energy. That's all they are. I actually remember seeing a food label for something from another country, and it didn't say calories, it said energy. And that would be so awesome if we could just shift our mindset that, this piece of food has this much energy, and you're going to use it or you're going to store it. And you know where we store those calories? As fat. All right, so you're taking in energy with the food you eat. You're burning energy 24 hours a day to stay alive, and also in addition to that, to move. Energy that's not used is stored as fat. And you decide what to do with the energy once you take that in. And you also need to replenish the energy that you use from working out. And we'll talk about that more later. Okay, so now we got some basics. So let's talk about just some fads. Okay, so fads, they come and go. So I remember years ago hearing a ton about Atkins, and now you don't really hear about that anymore. I, of course, remember the grapefruit diet and Slim Fast. A shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, a sensible dinner. And, probably showing my age by talking about stuff like Slim Fast, but I'm just wondering, what else do you remember? Dial a Diet. There was like these packets, I think, and you had cards, and it was like a game to get the right amount of calories and the right amount of nutrients all day long. So there's all kind of gimmicks and fads that people have tried to help people to lose weight. And I'm wondering if there's any you remember that I've forgotten about that you have tried. And I want to talk about Atkins quickly. So I know that what I have heard from a lot of people is things like, oh, Atkins works. I lost 40 pounds, but I gained 80 pounds after. So to me, that is not the definition of working. If it was not a lifestyle change that you could maintain and you reached and stayed at your goal, that didn't work. That I don't want to hear that. That's not the definition of working. If you're telling me you did XYZ diet and yeah, you lost how many ever pounds, but right now you are not living at that ideal weight, then that didn't work. I don't want to hear about that. So I want to hear about things that you have done and tried, whether they've worked or didn't work. And to me, works means a positive, permanent lifestyle change. And right now, the things that people are talking about are paleo, keto, Whole30, intermittent fasting. What else? What else are you hearing about now? What are you doing? What have you tried? What are you thinking about trying? Post it in the comments so I know. And why I want to hear this from you is because, you know, you talk to me about these things, about these diets, you know, that you want to try, and I might have no clue what you're talking about. You know, especially with this intermittent fasting, there's different hour schemes and different day schemes. You eat normal for 5 days, you fast for 2 days, you eat for a certain amount of hours, you fast for so many hours. So you're looking at me like maybe thinking that I'm crazy because I don't know what this latest fad diet is. But there's a reason why I don't know what the latest fad diet is. And look, I want you to look at what these things have in common. So things like paleo, keto, Whole30, what do they have in common? You're not eating processed food, crap, sugar. Okay, so they have just kind of put a brand, put a trademark, put a name on eating real food. And then let's look at something like intermittent fasting. Okay, so your first meal of the day is called breakfast. It's 2 words: break, fast, break the fast. Again, intermittent fasting, a diet that somebody's trademarked, this many hours on, this many hours off. That's just what we do. We fast at night when we're sleeping, and then we get up in the morning and we break the fast with breakfast. So again, they're putting, you know, words and, you know, labels, and they're calling these diets these things that all have the same foundation. And it reminds me of this thing. I don't know if it's like a joke or maybe something I heard in a documentary, but it's, you know, what did our parents or our grandparents call organic farming? They called it farming. So it's the changes that we've made to the way we process food, that now when you go back to basics, you have to give it a name like organic farming. So this is what I feel is happening with nutrition and diet. When you go back to eating healthy food, normal food, eating when you're supposed to, not eating when you're not supposed to, now we have to give that a name. And I really kind of reject this, because what this implies is that if you're just eating and you're eating processed foods, you're the norm. Okay, and then those of us who want to eat healthy, we want to eat whole foods, we don't want to eat crap, we're the outliers. You know, we're the subculture, and we need a special name to represent what we do. And I reject that, because what I want is those of us, you, who are eating healthy food, I want that to be eating. I want that to be nutrition. Okay, people who are eating processed foods and fast foods, I don't want that to be considered eating. So that's a little bit of a tangent there. So let's talk about what these basics are. What do I mean? What do I think should be eating? Let's see. So this is coming from a blog post that I did called Fix Your Nutrition in 10 Steps. And I posted this 3 years ago this month, and I definitely stand by everything I have in that post. I would add a couple things to that, so I'll let you know what I would add in, but there's not like I have big swings in what I believe in nutrition. And even back, you know, years ago when I started as a trainer, I knew that the foundation was what I would call back then clean eating. Again, something else, another term we don't really use anymore. But I knew that people had to clean up their diet, meaning the food they were taking into their body, if they wanted to see results in the gym. That was step 1. Okay. So my first step is water, hydration. So I did a live video a couple of weeks ago talking about hydration. Should definitely give that a watch. Some really good information in there. And my goal that I give everybody is 100 ounces of water. And again, that's not mine. I quote some sources in that other video. It's actually more water for men, but 100 is a great number to shoot for, 100 ounces. And some things to keep in mind is this doesn't count, you know, if you're drinking juice or artificially sweetened products, because I don't want you to count those. I want you to count water. Let's see. It's really helpful if you can carry a water bottle with you. And if you're carrying like a standard water bottle that's like about maybe 20, 22, 24 ounces, you don't refill it until you've emptied it, so you can keep count. If you saw on my Instagram story this morning, I shared a photo that my one of my wellness coaching clients sent me her accountability. She's, given herself, a goal of water to drink every day. And she sends me a picture showing me that she's drank her water. And she's not starting with a 100-ounce goal because, if you, like her, if you're only drinking like a 1 or 2 little 12 ounces of bottles of water a day, you're not going to suddenly drink 100 ounces. So we gotta step you up there. What else could you do? You could just they make some ginormous water bottles that you could carry with you all day long. It is helpful if you have a hard time refilling your water bottle if you just get all those water bottles out. So maybe you buy like 4 of those 20-ounce water bottles and you fill them up. And it's really important that you're drinking all day long. So you're drinking in the morning before you leave. You're taking it with you on the go. You're drinking some at night. You don't want to get to 8 o'clock at night before you got to go to bed and you got to drink 3 water bottles. Again, that's like not safe. I talked about that in the video. And you're not going to sleep well because you're going to be going to the bathroom constantly. So you got to spread that out all day long. Okay, number 2, breakfast. So if you are one of my clients, you were in my private Facebook group, and we do a different challenge every month. Last month we did breakfast. So starting your day with breakfast. So within 2 hours of getting up, eating breakfast that has 20, 25, 30 grams of protein. And there's a lot of controversy around eating breakfast because a lot of people will say that the studies that claim that eating breakfast is good for weight loss are, funded by breakfast food companies. But if we just take that out of the equation, one good decision leads to another. And this is why we got to start with something like breakfast. And if you skip breakfast, you get to lunchtime, you're starving, and let's say, you're out running errands and you drive by Burger King, that's going to sound really good. If you are at work and somebody has donuts in the conference room and you haven't ate breakfast, you're going to go for them. So the eating breakfast in the morning really helps you to make good decisions all day long. And we got protein goals, and if you're skipping a whole meal, you miss an opportunity to get 30 grams of protein. So if you're trying to hit your protein goals for weight loss, you can't just skip an entire meal. All right, number 3, here we go, protein. So most people are not getting enough protein, and it's super important for weight loss. I talked about that earlier. There's also a study that I've talked about with some of you personally about how older people need more protein. So unfortunately, if you start off not eating a lot of protein, as you age, you're going to be eating less and less protein. So older people get up in the morning and have a banana for breakfast. I'm talking about like elderly. And then they have a can of soup for lunch, and maybe they have a little piece of fish or chicken for dinner. They're not getting nearly enough protein, and elderly people need more. And you may not be elderly, but you're not hitting those minimum goals just for a middle-aged adult. So again, I give 100 as like just a general guideline to shoot for, but there can be some specific goals we can give you based on your body weight and your lean body mass, your goals. But don't be afraid of protein. You can eat up to 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight. So how much do you want to weigh? 170, 150, 130, 110? That's really the number you're shooting for. So giving you a goal of 100 grams, that's really reasonable for these standards. And protein does not have to be from meat sources. I am vegetarian. I get more than enough protein all day long. So yeah, that's huge. Protein is huge. Okay, number 4, post-workout refuel. So let's see, post-workout refuel. And what I would add to this, again, since this 3 years that I posted this would really for me just be consistent meal times. So the more I learn about Ayurveda and hormones, the more important I see that it is to eat at consistent meal times every day. And this includes your post-workout meal. So if you are eating, if you're working out the same time every day, or if you're working out first thing in the morning, you're working out in the middle of the day, or you're working out after work, eating after your workout should just be part of your consistent mealtime schedules. And you've got to replenish after you work out. So the analogy that I use is if you took your car on a road trip, you got to fill up your tank before you go on the road trip, right? That's like your pre-workout meal or snack. And you go on your road trip, you come home, that's like your workout. All right, now you got to fill up your tank because you've got errands to do. You got to go to work tomorrow. You got to take your, kids here and there. So that's your post-workout refuel. You've got to put it back in the tank. You need something in there. And this also can spare you from eating the muscle tissue after your workout, which remember, we want more muscle because that helps us burn calories all day long. So consistent meal times throughout the day, including your post-workout meal. Okay, and then number 5, probiotics and prebiotics. So there's definitely I see some conflicting information about if the supplements work for probiotics, but you can get probiotics and prebiotics through the food that you eat. So fermented foods are huge. Eating things like kimchi, tempeh, sauerkraut, miso, yogurt, Greek yogurt, unsweetened if you do dairy. You want to look for organic, avoid any GMO soy. So if you're getting that tempeh or miso, hopefully it'll say non-GMO on there. You also need prebiotics, which prebiotics provide the environment for the probiotics to flourish, and they are found in foods such as bananas, oatmeal, honey, red wine, maple syrup, legumes, which are beans, lentils, peanuts, and peas. So basically, if you're eating whole foods, you're eating healthy, you're going to get these pre and probiotics if you include some fermented foods. This pre and probiotics is super important for your gut bacteria, and this is like the new frontier right now for everything. So we're seeing that gut bacteria influences everything from your skin to your mood to your body weight. It's huge. If your gut bacteria is out of whack, you're going to have a hard time hitting any of your goals or just feeling like you want to do anything. So you've got to clean that up, and it is with whole food, healthy food. And then that ties nicely into number 6, which is fiber. So fiber, 30 to 40 grams per day. And I want to clear this up. So I had a client, coaching client a couple years ago who kept logging these, all these bars and crackers and just these processed foods, and I was talking to her about, let's get out of these processed foods, let's start eating other things. And she said, but they have added fiber. And when I drilled down, her main point was she thought that was how you got fiber, was through eating these foods that have added fiber. That's not how you get fiber. You get fiber from eating vegetables, fruits, whole grains. So you do not want something that has fiber added to it. You want something that is a natural source of fiber. And you can get that: beans, nuts, seeds, grains, fruit, vegetables. It's all in there, everything you need. And this is a big reason why I do not like the question of, how do you get enough protein as a vegetarian or a vegan? Because I think that's easy. I think most people who are meat eaters are not getting enough fiber, and I know this because I see your food logs. So you've got to get the fiber up by eating some of it in every meal, and that's easy. Once you start, buying those vegetables and those whole grains and adding them to every meal, it's easy. You hit those numbers no problem. It is not hard. All right, so that's fiber, and then next we have healthy fats. Okay, so you want to eat things like nuts and seeds, and again, that's going to help you hit your protein. It's going to help you hit your fiber goals. So I hope you can see how all these things tie in. It's not hard to hit them. So we need more omega-3s. Most people are getting too many the inflammatory omegas, which are found in things like peanut oil. So it's really important that we are eating things that have the good oils that we want: olive oil, avocados, macadamia nuts. What else? Did I say coconut already? That's a good one. Nuts, seeds, eggs, salmon, flax. Flax is huge, especially if you are vegetarian, because that has the certain type of fats that you need that are in fish. They're also in flax seeds. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, also good. I take a vegetarian algae oil supplement, and I would recommend that even if you're not vegetarian, because as you know, the problem with fish is the mercury. If you are eating an algae oil supplement, you're not getting any mercury. The further down you go in the food chain, the less mercury you have. And those fish are getting the good fats because they're eating the algae. So just go right to the source and eat the algae. or then you just want to make sure that you're getting some kind of supplement that's from lower down on the food chain. Let's see. And again, this is easy. You could add these to anything. Throw nuts on a salad, throw seeds in your smoothie. Get creative. Just buy these things, keep them in your house so you can just add them into your meal. Okay, and then number 8 is cheat day or treat day, whatever you want to call it. You've got to have a day where you are having something that you enjoy. I really like the idea of treats. Gretchen Rubin talks about this, and I did another blog post. So it's not a reward. I don't want you to reward yourself. You know, oh, I went to the gym all week long, so I get this pizza, I get this ice cream. No, I need to eat pizza so that I can be driven and filled up on all levels so that I can do all these hard things I have to do, including going to the gym. So let go of that idea that you have to reward yourself with food for working out. That is not a winning combination. Just instead look at it like you deserve a treat always. And again, you have to keep this in context. If you are eating, fast food every day for lunch, one more day of fast food is not a treat. I hope that makes sense. If you are not going to the gym 6 days a week, one more day of not going to the gym is not a treat. So it's got to be something that is different. And not all treats are food related, but I do think it is important to have the thing you want. And normally that ties in with, there's a birthday party, you're going to have cake, or you're going out to dinner with friends, or, if you're going on vacation, this is awesome. If you're going on vacation, I talked about how I lost weight on vacation. Every day of vacation does not have to be an eating and drinking bonanza, but maybe there is that one thing that you want to have, something you're looking forward to, or something that area is known for. But every day you don't have to go off the rails, and you're going to enjoy your vacation and your food a lot more if you do it this way. A great analogy that one of my clients compared this to, she said her kids always got allowance and they did chores. They didn't get paid for doing chores. They got an allowance and they did chores. Those were separate things, but she never paid them to contribute to the home. She didn't want them to look at it that way. And that's how I want you to see this. You get treats and you work hard. You don't get a reward for working hard. You just work hard. And you get treats because you're awesome. Okay, so then number 9 is sugar. So if you go to this blog post that I did on my website, aliciacrosstraining.com, and I'll put a link, Fix Your Nutrition in 10 Steps, there is an awesome graphic from the fedupmovie.com, the 56 names of sugar. All right, so sugar is sugar by whatever name they're calling it. You need to watch out for things like maple syrup, rice syrup, what's the other one? Date syrup. Okay, these are all still sugar. Even if you're making something and you fill it full of fruit, that's still sugar. So sugar is the huge contributor to obesity and metabolic syndrome. That is the problem, is the sugar. We're eating way more sugar than we ever did, so we really have to cut that back. And you will find there's a lot of people doing like cleanses or getting off sugar, and you'll see huge changes in their body. They'll report changes in their skin, their mood, all of the things. And if you are eating a lot of sugar, you are addicted to it. It is going to be hard, and it's up to you if you decide you're going cold turkey or you are ramping down. You got to decide what works for you. Weaning yourself off, that can be really helpful, especially, man, if you like sugar in your coffee and you switch to black coffee, that's going to be a hard switch. But you can make it, because I went from filling my coffee with artificial sweetener, now nothing, just some almond milk, and that was for me a gradual process of backing off. So let's see where my limits are. Oh, and there's definitely some interesting information in that Fed Up movie, if you watch that, about the sugar labels. So I use the World Health Organization guidelines, no more than 10% of total calories from all sugar. So not just natural or added, but all sugars. So that would be 50 grams. That's about 2 servings of fruit a day. 2 servings of fruit a day. And then my number 10 on here is things to avoid. So I don't like talking about taking things out. I like putting good things in, but of course we got to talk about stuff that you're looking for. So things like high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, trans fat, which, I mean, we're getting to the point where it's even illegal to put that in food. MSG, nitrates in processed meats, hormones in milk and dairy products, dyes, different preservatives and flavorings. Definitely eating anything that you are allergic or sensitive to. I have a client who said, oh, well, you know, I'm allergic to chocolate, but I still like to eat it. I don't understand that. I have celiacs. I'm not going to touch gluten. I do everything I can to stay away from it. So if you're allergic to something, or it makes you sick, or you know if you eat dairy you break out, really think about, or really try to look at, maybe journal on why you are still taking in those foods when you know they are bad for you, harmful for you, not good for you. Definitely dig into that. Okay, so those are my 10 steps. So they are water, breakfast, protein, post-workout refuel, which right now I might just rename that to consistent meal times, probiotics and prebiotics, fiber, healthy fats, treats, sugar, and your no-no list, the things to avoid. So those are my basics. So if you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, just post it in the comments and I will get back to you. I'll put a link to this blog post because it's got everything broken out. I know it's long, it's a lot of information. So the clients that I work with for coaching, when we're working on nutrition, they can start to see some changes in like 3 months. And maybe if it takes a little longer, it's about 6 months. And if you've gotten it in 6 months, you can just roll with it. But usually it takes that long to kind of get into a groove. But I'm just there to help keep you accountable and to make those changes. I had a client who, she was already eating pretty healthy and she made those changes that I suggested, and I think she lost like 3 pounds in the first week. And that's not normal, but just know that you get out of it what you put into it. All right, so if you are ready to make some changes, you know, we're halfway through the year. In 6 months, we are going to be setting some resolutions. And I hope for you that you're setting new resolutions. You're not just setting the same resolution over and over again to lose that 5 pounds, to lose that 10 pounds. So let's get started now. Let's get started on wellness coaching for you so you can clean up your nutrition and get the results that you want. So message me or post a comment here. And if you have felt inspired or motivated, give me a like and maybe even a share. And I will see you guys here next week. Thanks. Bye.